Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the Papa Joe Show, where Papa Joe knows. I am your host, Papa Joe, and I do appreciate you being here today. Today is going to be an interesting day. We're going to take a look at some interesting stuff, I think, that around some um inflation data that seems to be arising, but I think it is wrong, personally. So we're going to take a look at that. And then we're going to take a look at some stuff that ties into that, but we're also going to spend some time looking at one of the world's largest exchanges, as I've already discussed a little bit around FTX. The connections, man. The connections, there's some crazy stuff there. That may be more for a Patreon show. I'll decide what I do with that later, as I do a little more digging on it. But yeah, we're gonna take a look at that. Take a look at some stuff on crypto.com that seems to be having people freaking out again. Um, and then just in general, some stuff that I think people need to understand about self-custody, how important it is, how very, very valuable it is. So if I seem a little tired, I am a little bit. I was in a wedding yesterday. My brother-in-law got married and whatnot, so I am a little tired. So yeah, bear with me. I may be a little squirrely on some things just because of that. So, but anyways, let's jump right into the content, shall we? If I can push the right button. There we go. Goldman Sachs expects significant decline in U.S. inflation in 2023, right? So Goldman Sachs said it expects a significant decline in U.S. inflation next year due to easing in supply chain constraints, while peak in shelter inflation and slower wage growth. Interesting stuff. Anyhow, the U.S. lender on Sunday forecast core personal consumption expenditure, or PCE, the Federal Reserve's preferred measure of inflation, falling to 2.9% by December 2023 from 5.1% currently. Yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know. One of the biggest things the Federal Reserve says that they need to have for the inflation or the raising of the rates to stop is job losses. Lots and lots of job losses. This sounds so nice, doesn't it? They're literally going to force the recession, literally going to force people to lose their jobs, all because they printed too much money. Selfish little turd buckets, if you ask me, but we'll see how things actually turn out when people realize that they have the ability to get out of this entire system using cryptocurrency. Gold and silver, self custody is a big deal, all right? And we're going to talk about self custody in a minute. Stick around to the end because that's going to be a very, very important lesson, I hope, for everybody. I'm going to give you guys some insights to things, and some of my regulars, y'all understand this stuff, but anybody who's new, there is a way to actually prevent the loss of your cryptos. There's a way, I say prevent, you can't always 100% stop it. You just have to be wise with what you do. Anyway, so stick around to the end, please, and we will talk about that. I want to wait to the end because I want that to stick really, really well for everybody. Anyhow, so layoffs, big part of it, right? Well, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Wrong button. Where did it go? There it is. Report Amazon to lay off about 10,000 employees. Amazon, one of the world's largest companies. Amazon, laying off about 10,000 employees. Yeah, Amazon.com Incorporated, is planning to lay off approximately 10,000 of its employees in the near future, starting as early as this week. The New York Times reported on Monday, citing people familiar with the matter. The cut will be the largest one in the tech giant's history, according to the sources. The decision will affect most jobs in corporate technology and device divisions, things like that. With the latter being in charge of developing the virtual assistant Alexa, as well as retail and human resources departments. So even their HR department. Yeah. Earlier this month, it was reported that Amazon was conducting a review of its divisions and that are deemed as less profitable, with a special take on the device department. Previously, the company decided to halt hiring corporate staff. Guys and gals, that's happening across the board. But it doesn't matter what company it is, they've stopped hiring. There's corporate staff that needs to be hired, and there's different holes and whatnot. Well, That's not a good thing for a company as big as Amazon. That means all of the retailers who compete with Amazon, which is a lot, they're going to have targets on different sectors of their business. We'll see what happens. It's not going to be easy going through things here, but just understand that the Federal Reserve is raising rates, trying to force people to lose their jobs so that they can say inflation is curbing. The thing is that inflation is not going to curb because in the past 2 years they've printed 80% of the monetary supply. They got greedy. A bunch of turd buckets decided to go and steal people's money effectively by forcing the rates to rise, forcing the inflation to rise. Inflation is a hidden tax. Those of you who are Bama regulars, you understand that. Anyhow, buckle up, guys and gals, because it's not going to be pretty. Why did one of the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchanges just collapse? FTX was supposed to be the future, a safe, reliable, and an innovative way to trade digital currency. Instead, it has unleashed a financial meltdown. It did. It did. Yeah. So, but not as much as people think it did. And if those of you who have been smart about it, if you have any coins on any exchanges anywhere, just realize they are at the mercy of the people driving that company. Okay, understand that if your coins are on those exchanges, you could lose them. FTX is now filed for bankruptcy. Guess what? When your company files for bankruptcy, any financial institution, everything on their books becomes everyone on their books becomes an unsecured creditor, which means there very well may be no money that you get back ever. There is a way around this, though. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Stick around again to the end, and we'll talk about that. Anyhow, FTX seems to be a shining example of cryptocurrency exchange that it was doing everything right. Yeah, except for the fact that the dude was the second largest donor to Flashbang. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. Yeah, David or Daddio, that is a good point. All truthful FTX talks mostly at Patreon level. By the way, I have Patreon. It's in the link description of the video down below. It's not a lot, but those are the conversations that we would have. What's really going on with FTX, and I'll get into that probably in the Patreon. For what it's worth, it's pretty interesting stuff. The connections, the connections are interesting. Anyhow, yeah, he was a big donor to Flashbang. He was a big donor to the entire party. There's a lot of connections with the Treasury. There's a lot of connections with the Federal Reserve. There's a lot of connections in a lot of areas. Guys and gals, when we talk about that later, it might blow your mind a little bit. Some stuff I've uncovered. So we'll see. We'll see. If you're part of Patreon, I haven't had time. As like I said, I was in a wedding, and I know you guys post a lot in the Patreon Telegram channel. This is private to that, and I'm sure y'all have covered a lot. So I got some catching up to do. So y'all bear with me. I will eventually get caught up. Anyhow, yeah. So there's supposed to be everything done right. Sure, run by Sam Bankman-Fried, whatever, a multi-billionaire believed by many to be a once in a generation genius who rubbed shoulders with Congress people and called for thoughtful regulatory leadership. Yeah, regulatory leadership for an exchange that screwed around with people's money. Gotta love it. FTX is a sister company, and its sister companies were bringing crypto to the mainstream. They spent millions on a Super Bowl ad comparing crypto to the innovation of the wheel and the light bulb, urging customers not to miss out on the next big thing and touting FTX is a safe and easy way to get into crypto. During the crypto downturn this past year, Fried, whatever his name is, was compared to JP Morgan and seemingly endless pile of cash, and he had to offer floundering crypto firms as he swooped in as a savior. In the span of 1 week, his empire came crashing down. Yep. Yep. Oh, it's gonna be fun. Guys and gals, not looking good. There's a reason why I say all the time, not your keys, not your coins, and I have a solution for that. Stick around to the end. It's gonna be very, very interesting. Tom, I see your comment. This is very, very tied to what I'm about to talk about. Tried to move some Shiba off of crypto.com. Couldn't do it. Then I tried to transfer the Shiba to another wallet with seed words. Couldn't do it. So I sold it and turned it into LTC and was able to move. Okay, Shiba is a different discussion entirely, but it's not just Shiba. But crypto.com, come on, stupid thing. There it is. I don't know what happened there. Crypto.com withdrawals rise after CEO admits transaction problem. People are pulling their coins off the exchanges. They're selling their coins into US dollars, causing another inflationary problem. Look, just move your coins off the exchanges like Tom was trying to do. He was just trying to move it off into another wallet. That's it. Hang on. Got choked. Sorry. In PAPAJO show, we don't edit anything because we do this live. You get the real me. That's why I love doing this with you guys and gals, because there's a live chat running and we have conversation towards the end of the show. Anyhow, concerns that the Singapore-based Crypto.com spread with digital currency traders on edge following the quick collapse of rival exchange FTX. This is where projects like the Divi project shine. This is why I tell y'all to look into the Divi project, which we're going to talk about here in just a few moments. Customers pulled funds from Crypto.com over the weekend after the company chief executive said the cryptocurrency exchange mishandled a roughly $400 million transaction. Crypto.com chief executive Chris Marzelinsky, whatever his name is, the CEO of Crypto.com, said on Twitter that the transfer was sent to the wrong type of account on another exchange. The transfer of a large chunk of Ether, a popular cryptocurrency, took place on October 21st, but came to light after Twitter users flagged the transfer as usual, based on public available blockchain transaction records. This is the coolest part about this space. Blockchain technology is transparent to some degree. Understand, this is why I say all the time, not your keys, not your coins. Get your coins off the exchanges. If you're going to use it, buy it. Fine. Oh, you're going to like this news. You're going to like this news. You're going to love this news. I have a little tidbit of something that just came across my desk that I think you're going to like here in 2 seconds, and I'm going to show it to you at the very, very end, so stick around. Oh, that's cool news. That's fantastic news. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Oh, that is so cool. Anyhow, I haven't read it. The headline is phenomenal, but we'll read it together, shall we? Anyhow, so the withdrawals from crypto.com, all exchanges are seeing outflows. Get this. Exchange outflows hit historical highs as Bitcoin investors self-custody. Now, why would they do something like that? Because they don't trust the central control of their coins. This is why the entire banking system is a bad idea. It worked for our grandparents. It worked for our parents. Guess what? Going forward, it's not working because the world has now realized the absolute, we'll call it, depravity and evil behind the banking system and what it really does and how it really works and all this other stuff, because people just simply read and looked and paid attention. Anyhow, self-custody means you become your own bank. Isn't that cool? Confidence in central exchanges appear to be waning as Bitcoin flows into self-custody wallets at a near record high levels. Bitcoin investors have been increasingly moved their holdings. It's not just Bitcoin, it's all crypto to self-custody solutions following the collapse of the world's second largest crypto exchange last week. On-chain exchange flow data is showing a surge in withdrawals of self-custody or to self-custody wallets, according to the analysis provider Glassnode. Pay attention to the on-chain information. You can look at charts all day long. I don't care how good you are at it, whatnot. That number is a derivative of what's really going on. You want to know what's really happening? Go to Glassnode and look at the on-chain information, the transactions happening, the prices, etc., etc. That's the real thing going on. And that's the difference between the crypto world and the stock market world. Crypto is basically like stock you can spend and move and do different things with, trade with, barter with, whatever. Crypto is also has another layer underneath it for people to actually look at what's happening rather than it sitting on computers in an exchange somewhere that you have no idea what's going on. You can actually investigate and as an individual, see what's happening with the company or whatever you're doing. Anyways, on November 13th, in a November 13th post on Twitter, Glassnode reported that Bitcoin exchange outflows had hit near historic levels of 106,000 Bitcoins per month. It's a lot. It's a lot more than it's ever been. It added that this has happened only 3 other times, April 2022 and November 2020, as well as in June/July 2022. It also reported that the number of Bitcoin wallets receiving the assets from exchange addresses surged around $90,000 on November 9th. Crazy stuff, huh? The failure of FTX has created a very distinct change in Bitcoin holder behavior across all cohorts, because people realize it's extremely important to self-custody now. This is why it's important to self-custody over and over and over again. And yet, we'll talk about this on Patreon. All the regulators are like, see, FTX collapsed and we got to regulate it. We got to regulate crypto. It's important. It's important. Even the freaking press secretary is saying crap about it. It's irritating beyond anything I can explain to you. It's funny. The Divi wallet posted this after I pulled it up and read it. I found it right before right before they put it out there. It was kind of funny. But anyhow, you know, a good self-custody is the Divi project. The Divi wallet, it's automatic self-custody. It's got a built-in on and off ramp. While that fiat on and off ramp has been disabled, yes, I've had lots of people argue with me about that, especially on Twitter and other places. They are working on a solution for it. It's in the process. The thing about Divi is that they might be a little slower at making things happen, but they're mixing concrete, pouring a foundation. And when the concrete dries, it's kind of hard to destroy it. Rather like FTX or anything else. They're building their freaking empire on a sand, on the beach, literally, where the waves are crashing. That's what they're doing. Divi's building a concrete foundation. So, FTX bankruptcy. Let me move this for a second. FTX bankruptcy. What's next for the embattled cryptocurrency exchange? What a difference a week can make from a position as one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges to bankruptcy court. The implosion of FTX has sparked fears for more exchanges and firms on the brink of collapse. So let's get down to where we talk about that stuff here. Oh, hey, look. We all know what happened with all that fun stuff, right? So here we go. FTX, Nick Saprano. FTX is crypto's Lehman Brothers moment, says Nick Saprano, the co-founder of this and CEO of Divi Labs, a decentralized payment ecosystem that's on a mission to improve people's lives by making crypto easy and accelerating its mainstream adoption. In fact, it's worse, he continues. In 2008, investors would have had some protection. FTX investors will not. And if history teaches us anything, they will lose everything. Inevitably, global regulators will see this as their cue to step in and crack down on hard on the industry, making it very difficult for DeFi providers to operate without the oversight of a third party. The polar opposite of why crypto was created. He's not wrong at all. DeFi now has a very small window of opportunity to stand out and demonstrate its value before the regulator gets its claws in it. It's imperative that we find ways to make DeFi less complex, more acceptable, and raise software standards to limit malicious behavior. Until then, we will be at the mercy of the regulator, and these centralized propositions will continue to pursue people to use their services. Nick is not wrong at all. Okay? He's right. The Divi wallet is a method by which you can self custody. Okay? If you're not familiar with the Divi wallet, you really need to. There is a Android and Apple application. There's also a desktop application. You can earn a residual income, albeit very interesting right now at the different prices, but you can earn a residual income with crypto. Okay? You can stake it. Okay? Different ones, whatever. It's whatever the price is. We'll go over the price here in a minute. Try to understand, please. The wallet they've created is designed for you to hold your crypto in. It's got a built-in decentralized exchange, which means there's not a centralized body or controlling it. It is a decentralized exchange. It's not an FTX. It's anybody. It's basically peer-to-peer exchanging. Look into the Divi wallet. It is fantastic information. Now, for some really, really, really cool news that came across my desk. Actually, before I do that, this is where what I'm trying to tell you guys. Don't trust the exchanges. They're centralized, controlled by individual people who have historically proven to be very, 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 well, let's just be nice since the kids sometimes watch this, turd buckets. Yeah, look, if you want to protect your coins, not your keys, not your coins, if they're on an exchange, they don't belong to you. They belong to the exchange. If you want to protect them, look into the Divi wallet. Send your coins off the exchanges to the Divi wallet. It's extremely important. Protect your coins. Become your own bank. Back up your C words. Write them down. Put them somewhere else. Keep them safe. By the way, if you need help with any of this stuff, I do consultations. It's listed in the description of the video. There's a link for Aster Blockchain Consulting. That is my company. And I do one-on-one stuff. I also work with businesses. I have a couple projects I'm trying to work through right now as well. So, all right. So for the really, really cool news, you guys and gals know I love Matic, right? Or Polygon. You know, I've talked about a lot of different things with them. They're working with the likes of Disney, working with the likes of all kinds of cool stuff. Guess what? Guess what? Just do it. Nike. Yeah. Nike has exclusively chosen Polygon as the blockchain for building their Web3 experiences. If there's one clear thing, everyone is building on Polygon. They are. I've been telling y'all this. We will continue to bring Web3 to the masses. Heads down. Build. Don't just do it again. Huh. Very, very cool stuff. Nike is building their Web3 experiences exclusively on Polygon. Here it is. Here's the blog post. Yep. Nike. Cool stuff, huh? Did y'all know that? Yeah, that literally came across as we were doing this stuff. So, not financial advice. Y'all do your own research and stuff. But I mean, Matic is making big things happen. And you know what else? During the collapse, it went up as far as price is concerned. Don't follow the price. Look at what they're building. This is why I say don't worry about Divi's price. Look at what they're building. The thing is that the people, the companies, the projects that build the things that are needed for the world, the projects that build, guess what? When all the other crap happens, they're going to be the ones left standing because they actually are providing solutions to real world problems. Not that Web3 is a problem or anything, but no one knows how to get into it. But these people do. I've told you time and time again. Polygon is a layer 2 for Ethereum. Ethereum actually cannot function at its where it's at right now without Polygon. Not the way they need it to. It'll still work, but not the way they need it to. However, Polygon can function in and of itself. They have both a layer 1 and a layer 2 blockchain related solutions. They are their own layer 1. You know why everyone's using them over Ethereum now? Net new projects aren't really being launched on Ethereum anymore. They're being launched on Polygon. They're being launched on Polygon because Polygon actually has a solution that is cheap. It is fast and easy, and it doesn't matter what programming language you want to use. It's there, and it works. It is incredible stuff. Anyways, cool stuff, huh? I think it's really cool. So, Wednesday, I haven't decided yet when I'm going to launch this. I have an interview this afternoon that you guys are going to want to listen to. I will be interviewing a surprise guest that I think you guys will really appreciate and enjoy the conversation. We're going to talk about, I don't know what we're going to talk about yet. We're just going to talk about stuff. So I will probably launch that on the Patreon this afternoon if all goes over well. And the Patreon users, you get to have it first. So early access type stuff, but I will launch it live for the rest of everybody else on Wednesday, on the Wednesday show. So stay tuned to the PAPAJO show. We have a lot of fun. I do get to have conversations with some really cool people about a lot of different things. So with that, you guys and gals have a beautiful, wonderful rest of the day. And I will talk to you all this afternoon for the Patreon. If you're not part of the Patreon, consider joining. It's only $5 a month. It's not a lot. It does support the channel. It does allow me to do this stuff and get this information out there for you all. Those of you who are part of it, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It does mean a lot to me. And frankly, this would be very difficult to do without y'all being there. So thank you. It does mean the world to me. Anyways, y'all be blessed. Have a beautiful rest of the day. And I'll see you this afternoon at 4:30 Eastern for the Patreon. And then take it easy. Bye.